entire HR stack falls under my organization, as well as AI solutioning, so both internal builds and external purchasing of solutions. And then I also support our social sustainability efforts for our global organization. So my role has evolved over the past few years, but my passion is really behind HR tech and what it can offer.
That's so exciting, Mandy. Thank you. You've talked to me about how Rackspace leadership has really embraced AI and incorporated AI into its strategies. Can you talk a little bit about that evolution and how the leadership view evolved and how that's trickled into your organization?
Yeah, so it's really been helpful that our CHRO has been really a pioneer behind supporting AI initiatives and activities. So back when ChatGPT was open for public use, our CTO organization says we need to get involved. We need to figure this out, and we need to figure it out now. And so what we did is we focused on educating our employees first. So we created an AI literacy program under Foundry AI by Rackspace. And so we had 4 different training tracks depending on your role in the organization so that we could get our employees up to speed on AI and make sure that they were equipped with the knowledge and resources before we started solutioning. So we did that in July of 2023. By December, we were hosting our own internal HR hackathons to see where our focus should be from an HR organization perspective. By January, we started on 2 projects for internal builds. One was an HR interview app for question generators. So you had a job description, you have a resume, and it could produce the questions, show the gaps within the resume for leaders and HR talent acquisition team members to leverage. And then our Ask HR Chatbot. So we implemented a chatbot. All of our documents and resources we house on SharePoint. And so we leveraged our Ask HR site, and it started minimizing the number of tickets we had to create through ServiceNow. And so our Service Center team really thanked us for that.
So it sounds like a lot of companies, you kind of undertook a build versus buy decision point, and you did some building, and you're maybe looking into some buying. What informed those decisions, and how has that kind of pivoted from maybe build into buy?
Yeah, so our big challenge was internal resources. So with our internal builds, we had to leverage IT and the infrastructure that they own. And so once AI, started hitting the markets, our customers were wanting our team to build AI solutions for them. So they had to pivot their focus to helping our external customers. And so with that, we made the decision to start looking at products that already had AI solutions in place. So whether it was within our existing HR tech stack or looking for solutions to elevate our AI footprint across the board.
That makes perfect sense, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about how Gia has fit into that picture and how you guys have utilized Gia internally. So what ultimately led you to undertake an exploration of using GP Gia in your organization?
Yeah, timing was a big factor of that. So we've already had an established partnership with globalization partners from an ER perspective, and so my leader was having a conversation because we were getting ready to onboard a new entity, and they got into the conversation of AI. And that's how Gia was introduced to her, and she's like, tell me more. And then it became, do you want to be a part of our pilot program and see how it could help your HR team members? And she said, absolutely. So after a few discussions, by July of this year, we were able to kick off that pilot program to our core project team members.
That's amazing. GK actually mentioned some of the features of GPGIA, which is our 100,000 articles that are created and vetted by our legal team and our HR team, as well as our tech team. We talked about the fact that GIA covers 50 states and 50 countries. In what ways has GPGIA kind of provided a holistic solution across your team, whether it's by region or by country or by discipline inside HR?
Yeah, so we're a global operation. We're in 23 different countries, so having a solution that could support all of our countries and the jurisdictions within those countries was very important. And not only just within the HR compliance space, but we also have team members leveraging the tool from benefits, payroll, global mobility, compensation. So it really has been a tool that different groups within our HR team has been able to leverage and utilize.
That's amazing. So GP recently rolled out in GIA some enterprise abilities, including document uploads and sharing among enterprise users. Is that something that's made a difference for you?
It has, and so the document repository was a huge bonus for us because we have our Ask HR SharePoint site, but then we also have owners within the business or within the HR team that have access to those, and in finding what document needs to be updated and when is a logistical challenge for us sometimes, especially as people come and go throughout the organization that had ownership of those documents. So by putting the documents within GIA, we now have a centralized repository that all of our HR team members can access all the time. And then it can also identify anytime there's a regulation change or a policy change, it can identify which documents in our repository need those updates so that we can get to those a little bit quicker, and then it can help facilitate the change within those documents.
Great, thank you. I wanted to talk specifically about how you've seen improvements in your processes or in your productivity on your team. Is there any one feature or any sort of set of features that your team has particularly noted as really helping them in their daily work?
Yeah, I mean, ease of use is one of them. The time that it generates this response, before we would have to reach out to our HR business partners or our legal counsel to help vet some of these responses, some of these HR compliance issues, and now we don't have to do that with GIA. We can enter our prompts into the tool and it can generate a response relatively quickly. And then with also the dashboard or the notifications alerting us when there's a regulation or a change, it puts it right there in front of our face so that we can make the changes more timely so that we can focus on other areas.
That's great. I've loved working with Mandy's team. They've been really, really lovely to work with. One of the things that Mandy talked about was that Rackspace early on implemented projects to get their team comfortable with using AI. But I still want to talk about what the adoption process was like with you. There are currently 23 people in your HR team that are using GPGIA.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the adoption process has been in terms of socializing the concept of using the tool within your team and how the team has adopted it?
Yeah, so we have an internal kind of tiger team for the pilot, but outside of our regularly scheduled meetings with the GP team, we've also met with our team internally, what's working, what's not working, what can we communicate back to them, but also just having it open on their browser all day, every day. Like that was my first recommendation to them is like, make sure you have it open. Like if you're in a call, or you're having a conversation with a team member, having it readily available helps. I don't know how many calls I've been on since we've started using GIA that I'm like, oh, let me just add it into the prompt and we could get a response. Whereas before we would have to wait, like, let me research that, I'll get back to you, and now we can give real-time responses.
You just mentioned prompting, and I've heard a lot of AI tools actually know that sometimes you have to be very precise and specific in your prompt, and if you aren't exactly as comprehensive, then you're having struggle getting the right answer. Can you talk a little bit about the experience of prompting GIA and how that has been for you?
I mean, they have entire courses on prompt engineering. So with GIA, it makes it a little bit more easy. I still recommend you be as detailed and descriptive as possible within any AI tool that you're leveraging, because you're going to get a more defined response in that manner when you do so. But I think being detailed, also challenging it or reiterating it if you don't like, oh, it's too long or it's not long enough, like you can enter additional prompts once it's generated an initial response, and you can refine it to the way that you want or what you're needing for your business or your organization.
You mentioned challenging it. So tell me a little bit more about how you and your team have tried to challenge GIA and how that's gone.
Yeah. So a couple times we've entered in, again, I mentioned we're in 23 different countries. So I tried to enter a prompt one time listing all of our countries. We were working on a global on-call policy, and I wanted to see what the legal ramifications are in each of our jurisdictions. I will say it came back with like maybe 5 different countries. And I'm like, well, what about these countries? And so I had to reiterate it because sometimes these large language models, they get overwhelmed. And so if you refine your prompt a little bit, then it can start to piece out specifically what you're looking for, and then you can tailor it. So like, if you don't want it in like a Word doc or text format, you could say, can I see this in a table format, or can I see it in a side-to-side comparison? And it will do that for you.
And if you do, 5 countries and then the next 5 countries and the next, it'll do it in smaller chunks.
Correct.
Great, yeah, that's really great to hear. Well, it's been so much fun hearing how your team has used Gia. I want to talk about, you mentioned that even outside your HR team, there's a little bit of a broader use inside of Rackspace. So who else is using it and how are they using it?
Yeah, so we've also extended usage to our global mobility team. So our global mobility team sits outside of HR today. But they have a lot of internal processes that they have to adhere to, so we partner pretty closely with them. But just knowing, like, I have an employee that's moving from country A to country B, like, what are the steps, what are the legal guidance that I need to adhere to in order to facilitate that, but then it will also tell you the cost implications. So telling you what the setup fees are to move that employee over to a new jurisdiction is a huge time saver for us.
Have there been any unexpected upsides, things that may have changed your strategy, at least for this year?
Yeah, I think so. This is the first tool that we've explored that covers so many different team members within HR. So from benefits, to compensation, HR operations, with HR data analytics, global mobility, payroll team. So it's extended far broader than we ever had imagined. It's also opening up opportunities with task automation. So we have, every year we have to publish or post all of our holiday schedules for all of our countries. And so we have templates that we use today, and by putting those templates into Gia, within a few seconds or minutes at most, we have newly created holiday schedules that we can post wherever we need to internally.
Wow, it's really exciting hearing how you guys are bringing new things to Gia and how you're going to use it in the future. We've had the privilege of being able to work with Rackspace to influence our roadmap. And so things like the document repository that Mandy talked about are things that they've really helped us build, and we're going to continue doing that in the partnership. I just want to speak to organizations that are maybe considering AI but haven't adopted it to the depth that Rackspace has yet. What lessons or best practices would you kind of recommend as they undertake that consideration?
I would definitely say do your homework. Make sure you're researching the companies or the tools that you're looking to implement. I would also make sure that you have people or processes and programs in place from like an AI literacy perspective, so they know what's acceptable to input into the tool. Data privacy, again, we have to adhere to GDPR rules, so making sure we're not putting anything into an AI solution that could potentially impact us from a data privacy perspective. So whether that's anonymizing the prompt information before you put it in the tool, you could still put specifics of a scenario or a situation within the tool without giving like PII or personal protected information.
Thank you so much. Last question for you is, how do you see a tool like Gia impacting HR and your organization moving forward?
Yeah, I think, for us, we want to roll it out to our entire HR team. We have 118 HR team members globally, and so being able to give them access to this tool would be huge from a day-to-day perspective for them. We have access to other AI tools within our company, whether it's Copilot, Claude, but we have a limited number of licenses. And this would be the one true solution that all of our HR team members could use and leverage on a daily basis.
I love that. So we've covered a lot of topics and are so grateful for your attention. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Maybe Mandy has the ability to answer them too. Does anyone have any questions? No. Okay. Well, I want to extend a huge thank you to Mandy for being here and to talk about Rackspace's incredible journey with Gia, which we're so grateful for. It's clear that AI, just look around here, everyone has sort of an AI something in the booth, but it's really clear that AI is an important part of everyone's strategy moving forward. We are so proud to be able to introduce Gia, and I would love to be able to talk to you more about it. I will be in the booth sort of around the corner doing demos of Gia today and tomorrow, and I'm happy to speak with you at any time. So please do come by, and thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.